Hi, it's Ginny Lindsay from 2 to 3 Relationship Counselling in Crow's Nest. I wanted to talk about sex today because sex is something that comes into my room with most couples. It's usually an issue that one or both have disappointment in. And so I just wanted to raise that topic, which for some is very sensitive and sometimes not even spoken about, but it is absolute key for a thriving relationship to do really, really well, and for people also to feel that they can set boundaries to be able to have safe sex as well. So the old myth was that safe sex was really much more about just having an orgasm at the end. So lots of kissing, then penetrative sex, and then orgasm and over. And so quite often for some, really, really unsatisfying, and particularly for the woman, a real letdown, because women generally are a bit like a kettle. They take a long time to warm up, but once they have warmed up, they actually remain up for a very long time, where men usually what they will do is they warm up very quickly, they then orgasm and they come off. So as you can see, there's a bit of a mismatch between men and women, even in their approach to sex. So I think it's really healthy for men to actually understand the difference between women and men, as far as it's generally a good half an hour for women to warm up. Now, the next thing about this, which is what I really wanted to talk about today, is that sex does not have to be orgasm, and sex doesn't even have to be intercourse. It's about closeness. And Jacqueline Hellier talks beautifully about having a picnic. And I'd like to use that analogy because I find my couples find it really, really helpful. So sometimes you've come in at the end of the day and you've put the kids to bed, or you've come in from a hard day's work. You're really, really tired. But one is feeling that they'd like that closeness and have sex tonight, meaning intercourse. The other one is saying, I'm not really up for the intercourse, but I'd like to have closeness. So what has tended to happen in the past is, unless you wanted to have intercourse, then there was no sex at all. And so therefore it was all of it or none of it. So what we want to be able to do is actually go, well, can't we have a bit of it? Can't we have a bit of a picnic? So why can't we just, as we know, it takes a while to wind down when we go to bed. So set the scene of going to bed, have a nice warm shower, turn some nice music on, light a candle, and just allow the body, anyway, part of good sleep hygiene, to actually start to calm down. So we want to do this irrespective of whether you're wanting to have sex or not. It's about going to sleep and actually, or creating the room for a really nice environment. And so it may just be setting boundaries. You know, I really don't feel like sex at all tonight, but I'd love closeness. So you might have some kissing, you might have some hugging, you might have a massage, you might have touching, expressing to each other how you like to be touched. Some people like it firm, some people like it soft. Some people will say, I really want you to touch more around here or on my buttocks tonight. Other people will say, please, you know, depending on where they are in their month, they might monthly cycle. They may say, look, I'm really sensitive on my breasts. I don't even want you to go near them. So we need to be able to express to our partner what we actually like, also because they are not mind readers. So communication is absolutely key here. And so you might then be kissing and cuddling, and as you're doing that, you're finding that your body is actually starting to relax and starting to surrender into actually, maybe I feel a little bit more than that now. So then I would communicate that to my partner and see how they feel. So you might have started with hors d'oeuvres, which is the kissing and the cuddling, but then you may start to go on to, actually, I feel like a bit more like main course. Now, main course is taking everything a little bit further. So it might just mean kissing, cuddling, and oral sex, but it still may not mean penetrative sex. So then we've got to be able to go if we then are in that, how does the other person feel? Because both people have got to be in agreement and understanding where that boundary is. So if one is wanting to have oral sex and then suddenly the other one's warmed up and the other one goes, no, I'm really not up for it, I think it's much better to be clear as you're going along, so you're trying to avoid disappointment. But if you then suddenly are going and then you go, actually, I'm actually keen to have intercourse now, well, then you're going the whole 3 courses. But the idea is communication is key to be able to keep your partner in the loop of whether you want entree main, and dessert, or do you just want dessert? Or do you just want main? Like, what are you up for? So having that as a conversation is really, really important, because we don't want people to feel, oh, I don't feel like intercourse tonight, so I'm just going to say no to everything. Because then we're robbing ourselves and our partner of actually having some closeness by just setting some boundaries. So I hope you find this helpful. I know my clients in my room often find this analogy quite freeing, because they feel, oh, there is a way out, but at the same time, they want the closeness. They just didn't want the whole gamut. So I've got other YouTube videos. If you head across to YouTube, type in from numeral 2, TO, numeral 3, no spaces, from 2 to 3. There are other videos there that you might find helpful as well. And just so when you are approaching your sex life, far more than just having an orgasm, much more about just being emotionally with each other and really enjoying each other's company. So any questions, call me 0412 88 2345. More than happy to support you and your loved one in your relationship. Take care.